The title of our case study is Maintaining an Exceptional Brand Experience While Balancing the Demands of High-Growth E-Commerce Fulfillment. That's kind of a mouthful. I want to parse that a little bit here before we dig in. And we'll start with sort of the demands of high-growth e-commerce. It's clearly a theme of this conference so far. Here we go. Let's take the demands. There are a lot of demands. Joe talked about a bunch of them. Mike this morning talked about a bunch of them, getting the right inventory, the right place at the right time. Let's talk about the demands from the consumer's perspective. Okay, demand number one increasingly is fast. So Deloitte has done a study the last couple of years. They've gone out and surveyed a bunch of consumers to ask them sort of what matters in e-commerce. This was also reported on the Wall Street Journal last week. So a survey of over 5,000 people. And the share of respondents who say that 3 to 4 days is fast shipping. So in 2005, it was a little over 60%. 1 year later, you're down in the low 40s. Okay, so stunning change. Excited to see what 2017 shows. But the number itself is small, but the rate of change is pretty impressive. So related question, same survey. The share of respondents who won't pay extra for 2-day shipping, like this is now table stakes. 2015, only a third said they wouldn't pay any extra. 2016, almost doubles. So now 2/3 of people say, no, I want it fast. I want it in 2 days at worst case, and I'm not going to pay for anything. So they want it fast. And the other demand is, and this sort of relates right into that, is cheap, right? So a company called the Baymart Institute, that they do a lot of consumer research in e-commerce, a lot of research around shopping cart abandonment, which runs at about 70% or so. When you pull out consumers who are just browsing, people who abandoned the shopping cart that had purchase intent, the number one reason is the extra costs are too high. And within that question, the costs are shipping, taxes, and fees. Any fee is most likely, if you work at an e-commerce company, related as a way to try and recover your shipping costs, right? So as a consumer, my demands are I need it fast and I need it cheap. So that's part of what we want to talk about is how do you manage those dynamics. The second is the brand experience. Okay, so ideal, and the term we used in the title here is how do we create, nurture, and cultivate an exceptional brand experience. It's a hard thing. There are many, many companies in the world that are doing this quite well. How do we do this in particular in an e-commerce model is the question. And we'll talk about that. And Casper is kind of a poster child as a company that's been very, very successful at doing this. So Pete will talk about that. There's a research firm, if any of you have heard of them, called L2. They do a lot of research in retail in particular. Great. You should check them out if you haven't heard of them. One of their 2017 predictions, though, and they sort of put themselves out there with these bold predictions, is the death of the brand. So you should check these guys out. And there's actually research behind this where they look at search terms and they monitor as consumers how many people are searching for specific branded items versus just the generic category. And then watching those trends, one of the things that they conclude is the death of brand might be upon us. Well, I don't know if it's going to die or not. I don't personally subscribe to that, but I think it will continue to get more difficult as e-commerce continues to grow and some players get a larger and larger share of the market. I couldn't resist. Private label and I don't know if FLEXE is in here, but private label has been around for a long time. This is nothing new. What's new and different, though, is that in a retail environment, you've got the branded products, the private label products, maybe on the shelf right next to it or below it or usually not above it. And there's a difference in price point. The consumer's got all this in front of them they can choose. In an e-commerce model, you can still see these two products maybe on the same web page, but one of them you might be able to get in 2 hours for half the price. And so it's the distribution system that has also changed. So the shelf space equivalent is very, very different. It raises the bar even further for a branded manufacturer to figure out how to create, nurture, cultivate that brand experience. And so, maybe table stakes is sort of basic relevance. How do you keep your brand basically relevant in a world of high growth e-commerce? Okay, so that's the overview. I'm going to turn over to Pete to give us a sense of the background for Casper.
Sure. So if any of you guys are locals to New York City, most likely you have seen some of our advertising on the subway or on the street. Casper is a New York-based sleep company, as we like to advertise ourselves. We essentially cover the gamut of products within the sleep arena, or the bedroom arena, as you would say. So mattresses, sheets, pillows, mattress protectors, even a box spring that we will take orders online from our website and ship directly to your home via UPS through our distribution network. That's a perfect example of some advertisement you might have seen. At this stage, we just hit our 3-year anniversary in terms of being in full operation, delivering on this model. And since then, we've expanded our product base very significantly, starting with the mattress, which was our core product and still serves as a core product today, to hitting just about anything you can think about in terms of sleep or sleep-related products. We capped out at around $200 million in sales last year, and continuing to grow from there as we expand our product base. We've been using a lot of creative solutions in order to get our brand out there, including the Casper Napmobile, which tours around the United States, offering people at essentially an appointment to take a nap in one of our beds, try out our pillows or sheets.
We need one outside.
Yeah, we should have had it parked outside for you guys. But that's kind of given us a leg up in getting our name out there. We have partnerships with companies like West Elm, where we're actually featured on their floor with our mattress, where you can try the mattress and get a sense of what we're offering in terms of our product. And also along with that aspect and kind of delivering something that you don't usually get when you're trying a bed at Sleepy's versus us or some of those other guys out there, is we offer a 100-day trial on our mattress, and we'll take back the return if you don't like our bed, and we'll handle the logistics for that. And that 100-day trial actually is across the board on all of our products, and how we've been able to grow such a great following, get a lot of customers to try our products. And recently what we've been doing is essentially growing out our network to challenge a lot of other companies out there, a lot of our competitors too, to offer the same kind of delivery performance as you'd expect to get. And as Karl pointed out at the beginning of this, the 1 to 2 day service or better in terms of delivery with our customers, as a way of further growing our brand and expanding our business, not only within the US, but also globally.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Thanks, Pete. Brett, give us some background on Iron Mountain.
Good morning, everyone. So everyone knows Iron Mountain is a physical storage company. We're the largest and the biggest in the world now. We acquired our second largest competitor late last year. And as you can see from our stats, we're up, like I said, we're very large, have a lot of employees, have a lot of customers, and we have a lot of real estate. So as far as how many locations we have globally, it's upwards between 1,500 and 1,600 locations. Our global footprint gives us the capacity and the ability to partner with companies like FLEXE for what they're trying to do between 46 countries, 6 continents, almost 1,500 facilities, and we store a lot of companies, probably people that are sitting right in this room. We either store your physical data, we store your data information in our underground in Pennsylvania, and that's really what our core service is here at Iron Mountain. Is we're a storage company in the world of data. So that is actually our underground in Boyers, Pennsylvania, where we house a lot of different types of physical assets and data assets. So our cloud is not up, it's down. So we have data, miles and miles of data rooms in this facility, as well as storing all, classified information in really locked vaults in this underground that's pretty far underground. And most people, if you're a customer of Iron Mountain, you're very familiar with our 1.2 cubic foot box, which is on the right side of the screen up there. I'm sure everyone's been in some sort of office environment where they have seen this box. In the last few years, Iron Mountain has really started to take a stand on innovation. As our business continues to progress, and as technology changes, a lot of people aren't producing as much paper as they used to produce 20, 30 years ago. So we're trying to figure out new innovative ways to leverage our number one asset, which is our real estate, and that's where our partnership with FLEXE comes in, leveraging their expertise not only in the logistics business, but mainly their platform and their technology to help us move the needle and fill up our document storage warehouses, our facilities with other things like a mattress or pillows or sheets.
Great. Thanks, Brett. And I'm going to do the super quick overview of what is FLEXE, just for context. I realized I didn't introduce myself. My name is Karl Siebrecht. I'm a co-founder and the CEO of FLEXE. So what is FLEXE? I mean, in very plain language, we're a massive network of warehouses. We have over 560 operating facilities across the US and Canada today. And they're all connected through a single software platform. Okay, so that's what FLEXE is. Digging in a little bit more, we're a marketplace model. So what this means is companies like Iron Mountain, who are warehouse operators. We also have many 3PLs, some global, very large 3PLs, regional 3PLs, and then other retailers and manufacturers who are operating their own facilities. When they have extra capacity or they just are looking to grow, they come to the marketplace to provide their services. This is everything from basic pallet storage, which is where as a company we started, all the way through now to e-commerce fulfillment. On the other side, companies like Casper are distributing goods, storing goods, managing their inventory, and they need capacity for a whole variety of reasons. They can come to the marketplace and tap into those 560 plus facilities all through one software platform. In Casper's case, we're integrated with their shopping cart. Other companies, we integrate with EDI or whatever the integration might be. And in many companies, they just use our technology platform to manage the flow of goods back and forth across the marketplace. So every participant in the marketplace uses the same software, which is really the key to making the model work. So our job, FLEXE's job in this, is to curate matches, find, based on the requirements, which operators have the right capabilities to provide the service levels needed. Our software reduces friction in the operations, scheduling inbounds, outbounds, figuring out inventory allocations, order management, all these things, and enabling control to both sides. So that's what we do. There's software that makes all this happen. If anybody's interested, we can talk more about that later, but let's get going with the case study. So I'm going to turn it back over to Pete, who's already given some of the context, but take us from where we started together.
Sure. So initially, Casper's focus when it opened up as a business was the New York City market. We started out with our mattress, which we were delivering via courier services or via UPS direct to customers' home when they ordered. We did this through a drop ship model in order to reduce costs and kind of keep things rolling very quickly, since we were essentially in some cases catching up to orders because we took off so fast, and anything coming off the line you wanted to go out to a customer right away. As we started to build up our business and our inventory, we started to see the issues that come along with a dropship model, which a lot of companies deal with just in general across the board, including just in general their manufacturers. They don't necessarily have strong fulfillment and operational procedures. So as a way of taking that and kind of improving upon it, since it was such an important part of our delivery proposal to our customers, we moved into a facility that was managing shipping our mattresses at a very high volume to keep up with our demand at a very high performance level for our customers. From there, as we continued to explore the opportunities that we had within our own markets and also improving upon our operations, we started to expand our network within the US and Canada. Canada in particular is a market that lots of companies think you can just jump into or service from the US market, and there's a lot of difficulty that comes along with that, or higher costs. And by moving into a warehouse fulfillment operation up there and within Canada, we were able to cut a lot of costs and improve upon delivery performance up there as well. From there, we've just been expanding our model with FLEXE in order to better accommodate what I guess we would be calling the Amazon equivalent fulfillment model, being able to deliver within 1 to 2 days to customers around the United States. And
Brett,
pretty
maybe
much
get your perspective on this expansion from the supplier partner.
Yeah, so working with FLEXE and partnering with Casper on this, the FLEXE software has really made it easy for us to roll it out across multiple facilities, because we are in multiple facilities now. And then leveraging not only our warehousing, but our expertise. So instead of like pulling a box of documents off a shelf, we're pulling off different types of items and picking and packing and shipping, and being able to leverage our staff for different locations to help train our folks. So we move people around. So people are seeing, this product for the first time may or may not know what to do. And as we continue to roll out with these guys, we continually move our people around so they have a clear understanding. And from a FLEXE perspective, they have a team that helps us manage this and roll it out so that implementations go very smoothly, because that's what you want. You need to make this as simple as easy for not only just for the supplier, but the customer, to make the customer experience as strong as it can be.
Great. So Pete, as much as you can share, can you talk a little bit about the results?
Yeah, so one of the biggest benefits that we've seen from working with FLEXE and Iron Mountain in this model is, first of all, because everything is web-based and we're working with such a great partner as FLEXE, there are no fixed costs in order to implement our 3PLs, which is a big draw, at least in terms of our end, and being able to expand very quickly. We've been able to open warehouses very quickly, including some where we've leveraged as like overflow locations that we were able to ramp up within 1 to 2 weeks.
When Pete says very quickly, he means very quickly.
Very quickly, as in you need a warehouse on Monday, it's open the following Monday. So we've been able to progressively reduce our delivery times. When we initially kicked off a lot of our smaller products, we were only working out of one facility, which, as you can imagine, with ground transit times, you're talking 4 to 5, sometimes 6 days to customers across the country. And we've been able to reduce that down now to, I would say, 1 to 3 on average, with progressively getting closer and closer to 4. To 2, not going backwards. Our brand experience and what we've been able to offer to customers has greatly improved. In the past, you would order our mattress and you would get it from one place, the sheets and pillows you would get from another. Whether or not those two aligned in terms of delivery time was hit or miss, and now we can deliver all of those products coming from multiple locations pretty much at the same time to our customers, and that's greatly improved our customer expectations and experience. And then as it comes along with essentially expanding your network, your parcel costs are usually one of the largest pieces of your logistics spend, and by expanding this network, we've been able to greatly reduce our UPS costs on that front.
Got it. Okay, so before we go into questions, we want to make sure we've got some time for questions. I wanted to share just a quick bit about where FLEXE is headed next. Last week we announced a new offering, really is an extension of what we've been doing, which is next day delivery. And what this is if you do a network analysis and your consumers are mapped to the U.S. population, your network analysis would say roughly that you would need 16 different locations to deliver next day ground to that 98%, essentially the majority of the U.S. population. Again, this may vary for East Coast weighted or West Coast weighted, but about 16 locations. Okay, this is what FLEXE has now rolled out, which is we talked about an extension of the offering we already have. We've got 560 locations, so we've got enough density and selection in every primary and secondary market across the country to be able to offer this service. And the software capabilities to allow our customers to do this intelligently, as opposed to just saying, hey, there's 560 warehouses, have at it, good luck with that. So the quick benefits and sort of way to get your head around this. So our model is an on-demand model, which means there's no leases involved, and Pete talked about how there's no fixed costs. This is a big challenge. If you want to put up 16 warehouses and you want to write 16 leases or get into 3PL contracts that each come with a couple year minimums, there's a lot of capital that you have to deploy. In an on-demand model, there's zero capital to deploy. Also, just by virtue of having lots of nodes, this is the sort of easy math, you get short last legs of delivery. And short last legs mean you get speed, but you also get a relatively low cost per order on that last mile of delivery, which tends to be one of the most, if not the most expensive components of that stack bar of cost that is your cost per order. So if you can get to fast and cheap, going back to what these consumers demand, which is fast and cheap, it can help you drive market share. It can help you create competitive advantage in an environment where it's not just Amazon, but all of us as happy Amazon customers have just been trained to get stuff fast and cheap. So the question is, how can everybody else keep up if they don't have billions to deploy in capital to put up their own facilities? And lastly, if you can sell on your own website through your own channel and ship in your own branded box, that Casper branded box, that helps you further develop, further nurture that entire brand experience and avoid some of the commoditization that can happen if you're only selling through shopping portals.